Our first speaker is Chris Sexton with his speech entitled, Where Will It Begin? With his speech entitled, Where Will It Begin? Please welcome Chris Sexton.
Homelessness is helplessness. I remember those words really clearly, even though they were some 30 years ago. And they were spoken by a chap, unsurprisingly, gathering money for a homeless charity outside of St James's Park tube station, where I worked during the 1980s. And the reason I remember that phrase is not the right reason. I remember it because a friend of mine, a younger colleague, did an excellent impersonation of this fellow, and he was a fellow that was worth impersonating. He kind of wore khaki green, he had big army-type boots, he had one of those hats with fur ears that you could pull down, he had a beard, and he had a deep, sonorous voice, and an accent, a heavy accent, maybe Scandinavian, something like that, and his great hulking body would stand astride like this with his charity boxes either side of him like this, and he would say, "Homelessness is helplessness. Please help the homeless." Now to us, just starting out, it seemed a bit comical. Why would anyone give up their spare time to collect money from strangers to give to other strangers that these people had never met? Why would we do it? And it was only a couple of years later, when I was a student and I had the opportunity to collect some money for Oxfam, that I realised that far from comical, this was actually quite a painful job to do. I can remember giving out these leaflets, little packets to put money in for Oxfam, and then a couple of days later going around and collecting them up. I remember most clearly just how much hostility you were met with when you went to collect these up. That was the thing that really stuck in my mind. So 6 hours, no problem, to collect £50. Again, no great problem, but the hostility, the aggression that you were met with some people. You'd pricked their consciences, or you'd inconvenienced them, or you just made them think about things that they didn't want to think about. You were very rarely welcomed. And it is confusing, isn't it? Before I came out tonight, I checked up. There are 16,500 charities registered in the UK. That means one for every few hundred of us. Or to put it another way, if you had a substantial sum to give away, say £10,000, it's 6p or something like that per charity. It does not make much of a difference. And the other confusing thing, of course, is there's this nagging doubt about whether the money actually gets to the end cause. You worry about, does it all get eaten up in administration? Is that chief executive earning £250,000? Is that what I'm giving money for? Or is the money purloined by some foreign government on its way to helping those starving people? Lots of questions that hold people back. I think that sort of thinking is wrong-headed, and I'd like to pose to you this idea of, rather than thinking about where will it end, where will all this giving end, all of these charities, to think only about where it might begin. Because after all, when you start on a career, you don't think about where things will end. You just think, you know what, I'm starting out. The end will take care of itself. When we start on a Toastmaster career, learning to speak in public, we don't think about where this will all end. And I think it should be the same with charitable giving. And I try hard now not to pass a charity box. If I see someone, I try to put something in. I kind of regard myself as unlucky if I don't put myself in, if I don't put something in. And if the person says thank you, which they invariably do, I try to say to myself, no, I should be thanking you, because I've done the easy bit. I've just reached into my pocket for a handful of coins. You've been the one who's given up their time to stand there and collect this money to try and do some good. So it's about where it begins, not where it ends. Now imagine my surprise and delight when a couple of months ago at Liverpool Street Station, walking through it an evening, I saw exactly the same chap again, the very same chap. There he was, unmistakable, same garb, same hat with the fold down ears, same beard, he didn't even look any older than me, and the same sonorous voice. Homelessness is helplessness. So of course I took one of his leaflets and I had a read of it on the train, and unsurprisingly, this charity that he was collecting money for now has a string of hostels across London to help with homelessness. This chap didn't worry to think about where on earth things ended. He just began. And he began in 1980, I know for a fact, maybe even before that. So this journey of his lasted upwards of 30 years, and he has made a difference. So I would ask you to think about this. Let's not get bogged down in where it will end. Let's not ask how long the road will be. Let's just take a first step and see where it leads us. So take